What up, guys? My name is Courtney. I am Student Nurse Court here on YouTube and on Instagram. I am a first year LPN student here on the South Shore area of Massachusetts, and I thought today we can talk about a little bit how I study for fundamentals, things that I have learned about studying for fundamentals, and things that could potentially help you study for fundamentals or pretty much study for anything in nursing school, because some of my tips actually pertain to just studying in general. So the first part about this is how I studied fundamentals. So I didn't know how to study at all walking into fundamentals of nursing. I don't think anyone really knows how to study while walking into fundamentals of nursing. It's that one class where you don't know what you're getting yourself into until like you're practically drowning. I researched YouTube videos, listened to like Instagram nurses, talked to former nursing students of mine, talked to my own friends, and I could never figure out something to do to study for fundamentals. Fundamentals is the type of class where it's critical thinking, very concept based, and you kind of need to know your ish. Like, you have to know it. Like, there's no memorization, like, you have to know it. You're not studying for just the test, you're studying for future you, for when you're actually dealing with that situation of being with a patient. You know exactly what you need to do. So for me, it took a lot to change my mindset and my study skills for that. I have tried literally almost, I think, everything. In prerequisites, I did flashcards for anatomy, flashcards for everything, literally flashcards and I were like inseparable. I went into fundamentals and that was not the case. People were telling me to use mind maps. People were telling me to make flashcards and all this other mumbo jumbo. Some people were even saying just summarize the chapters. It wasn't until now, like literally about a couple of weeks ago, that I started to get into a groove of what I was going to do. So, what I've been doing is, because I've been watching so many Rachel Southard videos, and if you don't know who she is, I'm actually going to be leaving a link to her YouTube video about explaining about Anki and the flashcard system that she uses and that I have started to use, because she explains it a little bit better than I can at the moment. But I use Anki. So it's kind of like Quizlet in the fact that it's flashcards, but there has a little bit more features other than what Quizlet has. So this one is spaced repetition. So over a course of how many days you're studying for, it will show you cards that you need to review. So on cards that are extremely hard for me, that I can't figure it out, they'll show me it again in 10 minutes. And then it starts getting a little bit better. And as you go up, it starts moving and farther away. So if I get a card that's really, really easy and I say that's really easy, they're like, okay, well, we're not going to show you again until 4 days later. And hopefully 4 days later, you still believe this card is easy. And every time you say it's easy, they'll start spacing it out. So then it'll go another 4 days. So it'll be 8 days. And I think that's really important for nursing and anything like healthcare related, because all this information is not something that we need to know for just that minute. We need to know this like information for time, like as time goes on. I need to know how to make a bed in 2 years, not just for today. Like, that's very basic of what we do in nursing school. But I use Anki, and I, as of right now, have really enjoyed it. It is very tedious to me to be making a lot of flashcards and then having to go through them. Some days I just don't even want to do them. It's a lot of cards, but I definitely feel like it's beneficial for me as being a visual learner. Another thing that I used was because, again, I was in a point before where I was drowning in school and I did not know what to do, and I invested in nursing.com. I did it back when they had their program where if you paid 9 months of $49 a month, you got it for lifetime. That is not the case now. Now it's a monthly thing and all that stuff, but I have been grandfathered in, and I find it very beneficial. I know a lot of people say that there's other stuff out there on the web that is free that you can totally use, and like Registered Nurse RN is definitely an option here on YouTube. That she is amazing. I do watch her videos sometimes, but I also like nursing.com because they have even like cheat sheets and like different ways to help you remember information. It's just another form of supplemental teaching. And I think that's what's important to me, is having another way of like learning it. But to tie in with nursing.com, they've actually partnered with Picmonic. Picmonic is another like website-based program of videos and stuff, but these videos make a story. You make a story out of these videos, which is awesome because then it gets people to remember them because they're really like goofy. And they show you the educational portion first, and then they give you the story portion second, and then you end with a quiz to see how much was like reinforced and stayed. I've heard about Picmonic before it partnered with nursing.com, and now I pay for it every month. It's $11.99, and seriously, I don't think, like, I really wish I did it earlier, like so much earlier. I absolutely think those are great. And if you notice a pattern here where everything is online and on a computer, you'll be correct, because I'm a very visual learner, so a lot of these videos are helpful, but also I'm almost 100% digital student. I have my Surface computer back here, and that's what I use as well. Like, I don't really have paper stuff. But the last thing that I do, and I actually have the book right here, is I do practice questions. This is the Fundamental Success book, and this is the 4th edition by F.A. Davis. I believe there's other books out there, but this is the one that I have because F.A. Davis happens to be the company that my school uses for our textbooks. This is great. I'm not gonna show too much, but you got all these NCLEX style questions in here, and then there's answers on these blue sheets in the back of every chapter here, with rationales telling you why it's right and why it's wrong. And that's important too. Like, you need to understand why something is wrong for you to understand why it's wrong. I do a couple of those off there. I do some offline, mostly from a book because it's great. Not everything matches up with everything that I do, but I can get the gist of how I'm feeling, and that's how I gauge if I need to study more. Oh, and pretty much the last thing that I do is reread my teachers' lectures. We have been gifted this year with having teachers who give us notes or their lectures ahead of time, and so I can read through every notes that they give us, and if I have to, I go through the textbook for clarification, but I really haven't had to need to read the textbook. And Florence, forgive me, don't shoot me down, but I haven't really had to read my textbook recently. So that's pretty much like everything that I have done for fundamentals and how I have learned anything. If anyone has any more questions or want anything more in detail about anything, because like I know that wasn't too much because like I don't do a lot of detail, but please leave them down in the comments below or shoot me a message or whatever. But the next thing I wanted to talk about is how I came to this conclusion of figuring out how to study. I think that's the one thing that people don't talk about in their YouTube videos, is how they came up with this idea to study. It just seems like you go into nursing school knowing how to study and they figured it out and everything. No. It's literally a struggle bus. I actually have a couple of classmates right now who still haven't figured out how to study for this class, and we finished this class in about 3 weeks. So it's very trial and error, and that's terrifying when you're in a program where your grades count. Like, you have to get a certain grade point average. What I had to do was I had to take a deep breath and back away for a little bit, and also tell myself, you're causing yourself to waste more time stressing about how to study instead of studying. So I just started reading my notes because I had that luxury. I had the luxury of having my teachers give me the notes. If you don't have that luxury and the only luxury you have is your textbook, then read it. Yes, 100% read it. That's what I had to do. And then I just did that. And then over time, I just found different ways. Definitely look in YouTube. registered nurse RN is great for breaking down concepts you don't understand. Like if you don't know your ABGs, that is awesome. Absolutely love it. If like something is not sticking, it's great for anatomy too, for the physiology, because whew, I cannot do physiology at all. I know Crash Course has a couple of anatomy and microbiology crash courses that you can watch to understand what the heck is going on there. I remember doing those a couple of times in my prereqs. Honestly, when it comes to like trying to figure out how to study, is like you gotta take a deep breath and just do it.
Do it! Just do it!
I know that's like easier said than done, but like just do it. Just sit down, look at your notes, study any way you think is right, and don't feel like you're not doing it the right way. I didn't think I was doing it the right way until I saw my grades, and I have been passing with flying colors, and I'm so happy. And so I didn't change it. The only reason I added Anki cards was because I was doing so well. I was willing to take a loss if I had to, because I also had my other stuff that I knew I could study off of. Um, so that's pretty much it about coming to fundamentals and studying in general, is that like don't stress out too much about how to study, because it's gonna in the long run cause you more stress and you'd waste more time, and then because you wasted so much time, you're gonna be stressed out that you didn't have enough time, and then it's just a constant cycle, which you will learn stress can make you have physical symptoms, and I normally get sick when I get stressed. So that's a no-go during this time of year. Definitely flu season and Rona season. I hope this helps anyone trying to figure out how to study for fundamentals or pretty much anything, to understand that to chill out. If anyone has any questions, comments, concerns, or wants me to go in depth with anything else about what I do for nursing school, please leave me a message down below in the comment section, or head over to my Instagram, Student Nurse Court, and leave me a direct message over there, and I would love to chat with everyone. I hope you're all having a good day, and I'll see you next week. Bye.